Hey, what is going on, guys and gals? It is your boy Nuke, back with another video today, but a very strange video to my channel. Very odd for me. This type of video, though, has been requested many times by many different people and many years now. You guys know that I'm not just a gamer. I go outside, I travel, I go to events like Comic-Con, I garden, and then I also work on vehicles, specifically GM vehicles. And I've always put out pictures and videos of projects of mine I've been working on and replacing this part and doing this. And people have always told me, man, you should just put a tripod up, take a quick 5 or 6 minute long video, commentate it, and you never know, it might work out. It might help somebody. And that's what got me. I was like, oh shit, there's probably somebody out there that's going to look at one of my videos and it's like, oh, I have that. I could have done that all this time. Or, oh, wow, that's a new way to do it. So that's mainly the reason for me doing these type of videos. I'm going to branch out and start doing car videos from now on, and repairs and upgrades and detailing. So without further ado, let's get into it. So today we have my Ford Fusion. We are replacing the spark plugs on it. A little bit different than my G6 spark plug replacement, because on the G6 it's just the spark plug wire. You remove the wire and then you remove the spark plug and it comes right out of the front of the engine or on the back of the engine. But with the Ford Fusion, they got to make our lives harder. You have to remove a bolt, sometimes 2 bolts, that holds a coil pack, I think it's called. It holds the coil pack against the spark plug and basically creates a seal. You have to basically remove the bolt from that, pull that out, then remove your spark plug. But as you guys can see here, the spark plug is down in a well. It's not sitting on the side of the engine or sitting on the back of the engine where when you take it out, you could just take it out with your fingers, it'll even fall out. No. This time with the Ford Fusions, they just stay in there. So if your spark plug remover tool is not magnetic, which mine isn't, you have to get tweezers, or you have to get pliers or vice grips and yank the spark plug out. So that is one thing I am not happy about on this car, or newer cars in general. There is no reason to have a setup like this. I'll actually put a picture of my Pontiac G6 spark plug locations and you guys will be like, oh my god, it is so much easier on the G6. But anyway, let's get into it. So as you can see here, this is a 4-cylinder engine. I replaced all 4 spark plugs in this video except the third one I did get stuck on, and I had to stop the video and actually have a friend come over and help me with a breaker bar get leverage on the spark plug, because it was in there so tight. It had never been removed since it was installed at the factory, so it actually had seized and tied of the engine itself. So just a quick little tip for you guys: when you're doing spark plugs, get a little pouch of dielectric grease, get a little bit of anti-seize compound. Put the anti-seize compound on the end of the spark plug where the metal is. Put the dielectric grease on where the boot or the coil pack connects to the spark plug. It'll definitely go a long way. But anyway, back to the replacement here. So as you can see, I'm on the second or third spark plug now. It was pretty easy other than the third one where I got stuck. But it's pretty easy. Just remove the one bolt, you take your coil pack out, or whatever it's called, and you just put your socket tool down in there, your deep well socket set, and you just take it out. Spark plugs, I think, are usually like a 10 millimeter or a 13 millimeter. The bolts to take off the coils were 10 millimeter, if that helps anybody out there. And what I used to replace the old spark plugs, I usually go with AC Delco, because AC Delco is like the GM brand you should always go to. They are the OEM part maker. But this time I went with NGK. Figured try something different, see if it works. It's about $3.50 cheaper a spark plug, so we'll see. One thing you can't do on this car that I could do on the G6 is you can't hand feed the spark plugs in. Unless you have extremely long fingers. You can't feed them in by hand. So cross-threading is definitely a concern. You got to be careful. You can't just force it in there and just start turning and turning and turning. You got to line it up with the grooves. You got to make sure that it threads into place. What I do is I just put the spark plug in, and I try to usually manually move it with my hand using the spark plug tool or socket. I'll just put my hand on the socket itself, the remover, and I'll just turn that. Usually it works. And then the rest of the way I'll just tighten it, with the tool. And that's how you do a spark plug replacement on a 2010 Ford Fusion SE.